Hello, hello, hello. It's knitting time again. This time we're gonna knit another hat using the garter stitch and the purl stitch. The last hat that I showed you with the number 5 yarn was all garter stitch. And so we're gonna do a different style. So today I'm using a cake yarn from Yarn Bee Sugarwheel, and the color is blueberry. It's a number 4, and I'm going to be using a size 6 needle to begin with. And after we do 6 inches, we're going to change to a number 7. So the first thing we're going to do with my size 6 needles, we're going to cast on 106. So I've already done 100, so I'm going to cast on 6 more so you can see how I cast on to the knitting needle. We're going to take your needle, you're going to go right under the stitch, you're going to wrap around, you're going to pull the needle here down under so that you can grab the yarn. You're going to pull and then you're going to put it right back onto the needle on your left. That's 1. Watch what I'm doing. I'm going under, I'm wrapping around, I'm pulling the yarn down and out and on the needle. That's 2. You can look, I have a video that shows how to cast on. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. And this is number 6. So remember, I have 106. Here's the 6th one. You go under the yarn, you wrap around, you take your needle, your bottom needle, go down and under and pull the yarn out and put it on. Okay, so this is 106. So the way this hat goes, what we're going to do is we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. So actually, you're going to knit 3, and you're going to end with a knit 1. Then when we do the second row, we're going to purl 1, knit 2, purl 2, all the way to the last stitch, and that's when we're going to purl 1. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to knit 1. Okay, and we're going to knit 2 more. 1, 2. Now we're going to purl 2. 1, 2. We just purled 2. I want to push some stitches up. And here we go again. We're going to knit. Remember how to knit. We're going to go under. We're going to wrap around. We're going to take the bottom needle, pull the yarn up and out. All right. We're going to knit again because remember, we knit 1, and then we knit 2 more, then we purl 2 more. So now I just knit 1, and we're going to knit 1 again. Alrighty, so we're going to knit 2, we knit 1, we knit 2, we purl 2, we knit 2, and then we purl 2. Okay, so now we're going to knit 2. 1, 2, and then we're going to purl 2. 1, 2. You see the difference? When we knit, we bring the yarn to the back. And we're going to knit 2, wrapping around this way. 1, 2. When we purl, we're going to bring the yarn in front, and we're going to purl 2. 1, 2. So continue knitting 2, purling 2, and I'll meet back up with you at the end. I'm at the end of the first row. So I just finished knitting 2. So now I'm going to purl 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to knit 1. Okay. So now that I ended with the knit 1, I'm going to purl 1 and then knit 2, purl 2. Purl 1, wrapping in front, knit 2, wrapping from the back, knit 2, 1, 2, purl 2, from the back, from the front, purl 2, 1, 2, and then knit 2, bringing the yarn in the back and knitting 2, 1, 2. So we're going to knit 2, purl 2 to the end, and your last 3 stitches should be 2 knits and the last one a purl. I'm purling, and then I'm knitting. Knitting 2, right back to the front, purling 2. So continue until your last stitch is a purl, and I'll meet you at row 3. We're at the end of the second row, ending with 2 purls, We just did 2 purls and a knit. So what we're going to do now, we're going to start with row 3. And with row 3, since we ended it with a knit row, now we're going to purl. So we're going to purl 1. We're going to knit 2. And we're going to purl 2. Now, I want to show you something. This is when you know you knit. Okay? I'm bringing the yarn to the back. And you see how these 2 stitches are like this? Okay? This is where you knit. When you see your stitches looking this way, like, I guess frontwards, this is where you knit. So we're going to knit 2. All right, we just knit 2. So now we're going to pull the yarn to the front. And see these 2 bumps? You have 2 bumps here. 1, 2. These are 2 bumps. That's what I'm going to call it. This is when you know you purl, because you're making 2 bumps. You see that? Now we're going to knit again. And you see how you see these 2 stitches? This is how you know you knit. 1, 2. And then you move the yarn back to the front, and this is how you know you purl, because you see these 2 bumps. So you're going to purl. Alrighty? And when you get to the end, because I want to show you the end. Okay, see this stitch? Okay, see these 3 stitches? Okay, I want to make sure you see it. These are 2 bumps, and this is a knit. Okay? You see how you can see the difference? These are 2 bumps, that's a purl, and these 2 stitches is knitting. Purl, knitting. Purl, and the knit. Okay? So I'm going to keep going until I get to 6 inches. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll go to 3 or 4 inches so you can see what the ribbing looks like. I just finished doing this rib stitch, and it measures 6 inches. Okay? So now that I finished doing the rib stitch, I'm going to change to a number 7 needle. And this time, we're going to knit the first row, and we're going to purl the next row using 1 size larger than number 7. So we just, remember how I showed you to knit? We just go under the top needle, we wrap around, pull the yarn through, and up. And we're going to keep knitting this row. And then the next row, we're going to purl. Okay, we're going to keep knitting the first row and purl the next. And we're going to continue doing this until until we reach 8.5 inches. From the bottom up, we want 8.5 inches. And then we'll start shaping the hat. So just continue knitting this row. I just finished doing the knit row, so now we are going to do the purl row. And doing the purl row, we're going to take our needle and go to the front. We're going to wrap around and pull the needle down and the yarn and the stitch up. You see that? We're going to go in. We're going to wrap around, pull the yarn through and out. This is purling. And when you knit one row and purl one row, it's called the stockinette stitch. So continue knitting and purling until you get to 8.5 inches. And then we'll start doing the crown of the hat. Alrighty? I'll see you at 8.5 inches. I've just completed 8.5 inches. So now it's time to shape the crown of the hat. We're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 20, knit 2 together, and repeat the step to the last stitch, which is a knit stitch. So let's go. We're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together, then we're going to knit 22 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now, we did 22, and the pattern says to slip, slip, knit. But actually, you're knitting 2 together. Okay, because when it says slip, slip, knit, it wants you to pick up 2 like this, and then it wants you to put it back. Okay, you're going to put the 2 stitches back. 1, 2. And then they want you to knit 2 together by going to the back of the 2 stitches and knitting. That's why I say just knit 2 together instead of saying slip, slip, knit. I just knit 2 together. Okay? So after doing that, what we're going to do, because we're supposed to repeat it, we're going to knit 2 together again. Okay? So knit 2 together again. And then knit 22. Okay? So now you're going to knit 22, knit 2 together, and knit 2 together. So you're knitting 2 together twice, and then you're going to knit 22, and your last stitch should be a knit 1. Okay? So do that, and then purl the next row, and I'll come back to you. I want to show you what I'm paying attention to, because we're working on the crown. So what we did was we knit 1, and then we knit 2 together, and then we knit 22. And slip, slip, knit, you're knitting 2 together, but you're knitting 2 together from the back. And then it's saying to repeat. So you're going to repeat from knit 2 together. So you're going to knit 2 together again, because after you slip, slip, knit, which is knitting 2 together, you're going to start here and knit 2 together again. So, and then you purl the next row. So this is what we're going to do now. We're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 20, and then we're going to slip, slip, knit, which is knitting 2 together from the back. And then we're going to repeat. See, it says repeat. So we're going to go right back to the asterisk and knit 2 together again, knit 20, knit, slip, slip, knit, and you just keep repeating until you get to the last stitch, which is a knit 1. And once you completed this row, you're going to purl. Every one of these rows you complete, you're going to purl the next row. So I'm going to do the knit 20, and I'll come back to you when we get to knit 8. We're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together. See, 1, 2. We're going to knit 2 together from the front. We're going to knit 2 together. And then we're going to knit 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now it says to slip, slip, knit, but actually we're going to knit 2 together from the back. So instead of going 2 together in the front, we're going to do it in the back. We're going to knit 2 together, which is slip, slip, knit. We're going to knit, which is SSK as you see in the instructions. So we're going to go to the back. We're going to knit 2 together, or SSK, which is slip, slip, knit from the back. Okay? And then you're supposed to start over again where you see the asterisk because it wants you to knit 2 together in the front. Okay? So we just knitted 2 together in the front. You're going to knit 20, and then you're going to knit 2 together in the back, which is the same as slip, slip, knit, and the abbreviation is SSK. And you're going to have 1 left to knit. And once you do that, the next row you purl. So every other row you purl. So now that we've done 20, the next time you're going to do 18. The next time it's going to be 16. And until you get down to 10. I'll come back to you when we get to 10. Okay? Now we're at the 13th row, where we knit 10, knit 2 together, or slip, slip, knit. And then we go from the 13th to the 15th, which is knit 8. And then you go from the 15th to the 17th, where you knit 6. The 19th, you knit 4. And the 21st, you knit 2. So notice that when you start decreasing, it's every other row, okay? Because when you do the first row of decreasing, you purl the next row. So every other row you decrease, and every other row you purl. So let's go to row 15. No. Let's go to row 13 and start so we can finish this hat. So we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together in the front, and then we're going to knit 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And with the SSK, which is slip, slip, knit, we're going to knit 2 together from the back, not the front, but from the back. We're going to knit 2 together. And then we're going to knit 2 together again, but from the front. You see that? And then we knit 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to knit 2 in the front, and then knit 2 in the back. And knit 10 again and repeat. So I'm going to finish this row and then I'm going to purl the next row and then we'll get to knit 8. After finishing your decrease in your purl row, you should have 50 stitches remaining. And remember, when you do your decrease row, you should end up with 3 stitches. And with the 3 stitches, you knit 2 together, knit 1. At the end of every decrease row, you knit 2 together, knit 1. Okay. Knit 1. Knit 2 together, knit 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, knit 2 together in the front, then knit 2 together in the back, and then knit 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, knit 2 together in the front. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, knit 2 together in the front and knit 2 together in the back. So complete complete the decrease row, and when you get to the last 3, you're going to knit 2 together, knit 1, and go purl again and purl again. And then the next time we're going to do knit 2 together, knit 6. And the row after that, you're going to knit 4 together, knit 6, purling. And I'll come back when it's time to knit 2 together. So remember, your decrease row, you have 3 stitches at the end, and you knit the last, you knit 2 together and then knit 1, and then you purl the next row. Remember, every other row you decrease, every other row you purl. I'll be back when it's time to knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 4, purling the next row, and then we're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2. After doing the purl row, we're going to knit 2 together, knit 4. So we're going to start off with knitting 1, knit 2 together, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 4. We're going to knit 2 together in the front, knit 2 together in the back, and knit 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 2 together in the front, and knit 2 together in the back. Complete this row with knit 2 together, knit 1. And I'll see you at the next decrease. This is our last decrease. So we're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 2 together in the front, knit 2 together in the back, knit 2 stitches, 1, 2, knit 2 together in the front, knit 2 together in the back, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 2 together in the front, knit 2 together in the back, knit 2, 1, 2, 3 stitch remaining. We're gonna knit 2 together in the front, knit 2 together in the front, and then knit the last stitch. We're gonna purl the last row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Purl the last row. All right, we've purled the last row. Now it's time to put the hat together. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut our yarn we're going to get our large eye needle. And we're going to thread the needle. You're going to take your needle, your large eye needle, and you're going to push the needle or guide the needle through through the stitches. Okay, so we're going to go through the stitches. We're going to take it off. Take the stitches off with the large eye needle. See how I'm doing this? I'm finishing up transferring the stitches onto my large eye needle. Okay. I'm going to pull the yarn, pull the string. Okay. And then we're going to fold it. I'm getting my kit again. And I'm going to pin my hat in place so that it's even. Okay, now because this is a cake, when I start sewing, right now I'm using the pink color. But when I start with the navy blue, I'm going to have to go back to my cake and pull the navy blue color. I have no navy blue in here, so I'll probably use the gray, but I can't use the pink because the pink will show too much in this navy blue and gray. So let's sew the hat together. Okay, I'm pulling it tight. I want to make sure it's tight up here. And I'm going to sew in and out here. I just want to make sure it's tight. There you go. And then I'll start going down the side of the hat sewing. Okay. But see how I'm going in and out, in and out. And see, when I sew, I'm sewing right here, right along the edges. That's where I'm sewing. Now I'm going to keep sewing down, and when I come back, I'll show you the finished hat. Because see how the pink looks along this navy blue? I can't have that going down, so I'm going to use the gray because it's a darker color. I do have a strand of yarn that I left from the bottom, so I'm going to sew this up and meet with this strand, and I'll be done. And I'll just tie it and weave in the ends. I hope for my beginners, you didn't find this too difficult. Those of you who know how to knit and not beginners, you can find the pattern Yarnspirations website. That's Yarnspirations. And it's called Caron Men's Basic Knit Hat. That's Caron. Okay? You can find it at that website. Now I've finished sewing. I'm gonna tie it again. Use some of my fabric fusion at the knot. Tie it again. All right, I'll weave in the ends. I just want to put the hat on so you can see what it looks like. The completed hat. And this hat is for someone who has a large head. It's a large size, okay? It's not medium, it's not small, it's a large size. So I'll see you soon with another tutorial. Bye now.